Wednesday, November 13th. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, Thursdays change it up.
Let's do this. I stayed home today.
Went to work.
I'm going to stay home tomorrow, too, and I don't even have to use days or anything.
See, I actually have too many days. I got to figure out exactly which days I'm taking. I really think I'm going to take off like every Wednesday in December and then like the last 2 weeks of the month.
Yeah, I guess like this work that I need to do that needs to get done pretty soon.
I'm in that boat. I'm behind on every project I have.
That I should probably do. It's just one work. It's not a bunch of projects. It's one thing I'm supposed to do. And they're like, yeah, you can work on it from home. You got the VPN working, right?
You know what? I've actually been working from home a lot lately because it's like I'm at work. All right, I can either go home on the 410 train, and then if I have another hour of work to do, I can just do it at home in the comfort of my house in my Aeron chair with food and drink and music, and I can be mostly naked. Or I can stay at work, take a crappy crowded train home, get stuck in traffic on my way back.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do it until Monday. I'm going to instead do what I did today, which is spend most of the day working on Geeknights shit, website and such.
See, I really don't feel bad. I've been working a lot of extra hours this week, but actually for the last month, but I don't feel bad about it because I still work fewer hours than a lot of other people. Not just in my company, but just in general. Seems like a lot of people we know will put in a lot of overtime with no real benefit.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean,
if it's a choice between do the overtime or you lose your job and you're not in a place where you can easily get another job quickly.
Well, I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of people out there, right, who actually get paid hourly and make overtime money. And those people, if they've got nothing better to do, if they're just going to go home and play NS, or if they're just going to go home and, play World of Warcraft or something. I mean, think about this. If you work 2 hours of overtime, even if because of that, you have to eat dinner, at a restaurant or a takeout place instead of eating dinner at home, you still make enough money to make back that. And unless you're doing something after work, you're not really losing anything.
See, but you're forgetting something because remember, there was a time when we were in college, a time when I often could not afford food. I could not afford food. I had a job. Very often, the manager would come out and say something to the effect of, hey, if someone wants to go home right now, they can, and I would be the first one out the door.
Well, the thing is...
Or the boss would say, hey, anyone want some overtime? And I'd be, hell no. And then I'd go home and realize that I didn't have any food or money to buy food.
The thing is that when in those times, when you left work immediately, it was summer in college and awesome. So the time you weren't spending at work was time of awesome. See, I'm talking about someone who, if they leave work, is going to go home to a family they hate or go home to a TV
No. I posit this to you. If you're one of those people who's going home to the family you hate, there's a far bigger problem in your life than working overtime.
This is true, but at least overtime is understandable if you are that person. If you are a salaried employee like Rim and I, and your pay doesn't change depending on how many hours you work. It's simply a matter of either work and get paid or work and don't get paid.
That is the critical part. Because at IBM, I wasn't going to get promoted just because the way IBM was. Nothing was going to happen to me good if I worked 60 hours or 10 hours. So I just did my job and that was it. In the hospital, I don't want to get into how poorly managed they were. But now, my bonus, basically, I'll probably just get a much bigger bonus because I've been working late and I kind of need that for a down payment on a house, so it's about the right time.
Yeah, my pay does not change based on how many hours I work. So I just work and I get all the work I need to get done on time, and that's it.
One cool thing about when I worked at that hospital is I was a salaried employee, but I still logged my hours. And the way they handled overtime was that you had to work 37 and a half hours a week, and that was really the only requirement as far as like payroll and all those people were concerned. And a lot of people worked a lot of extra hours, and a lot of them didn't log the hours because their bosses told them not to, but that's just because they were dumb. But
I would log if there was hour logging, which there never has been for me.
I don't think it was the dumbest thing because they do this. They'd like they'd work hours that they didn't log, but then their boss would let them take like a week off, which was more vacation time than they'd get. Just had to do it like kind of secretly.
Oh, that's how they were doing
So people
it.
basically everyone in the company did all these like secret deals with their bosses to like, hey, can I just work late tonight and then skip Monday and Tuesday?
I wish I could do that. That'd be awesome. I'd go for that.
There were a few people who worked the 4 10-hour days a week.
If
schedule.
I was a boss of people, basically, I wouldn't care if people showed up at the office unless there was a meeting at the office they had to be at. I wouldn't care if people stayed home. All I would care is this is the work. It needs to be done on this time, and that's it. And
But
if
many
that
people
happens,
have
you can do
concurrent
whatever
work.
you want.
A lot of jobs, there's concurrent work with other people, so you really got to have people around at the same time, or else the work's not going to get done. And
If you don't get the work done,
you can't do that because then you're leaving it. All right, so you and me are on a project, and we got to get it done. And you're like, yeah, let's work all day Monday and finish it. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm working Friday. And then we don't get anything done. We both get fired. Great.
Yeah, that was our fault for being dumbasses and not working together.
Nah. But honestly,
That way, it would be apparent very, very quickly if someone was not capable of working, freely and awesomely. And if someone isn't, that's not the kind of person I want working for me.
see, honestly, I kind of like having the schedule now, at least, just because I commute on the train.
Well,
so
I
it
would
makes
hope
it
that
really
the
easy.
people who needed to work together would use, technology to schedule the times they needed to be together.
No, because remember at college, that never worked. Unless the professor set it up, no one ever worked together properly on things.
Oh, we did.
You're the only ones.
Eh.
I don't think I ever, in the history of my time at RIT, had a meeting with a group for a class whereupon everyone in the group showed up.
I've had
Well, once it happened.
there have been groups that I have been in where there were people not showing up, but at least one or two other people always showed up. And I have had groups that were like the perfect best groups where everyone showed up and it was awesome all the time. I guess, but the best group actually was when I took the XML, not the XML class, the ad hoc networking class, because it was basically me, a guy I was in a group with before who was awesome, and 2 graduate students who were awesome. It was just 4 awesome people, because I'm awesome also.
See, I guess the problem I had in IT was that the one time I was in a really awesome group, everyone was so awesome that no one wanted to do the work because it was boring work.
Oh, see, this is a high-level CS class of, hard, awesome work.
Yeah, in that class, only the last couple labs were high level. The first couple labs were like, here is how to deal with like running cables through walls and cutting drywall.
This wasn't a situation of labs. This is a situation of the whole class is one project. You basically spend the entire quarter making it, and every single week you have to present where you're at and such. So, I basically did all the front heavy work and then went, for the rest of the quarter while everyone else did the top heavy, more
But
difficult
anyway,
work.
you do make a good point. Remember those days?
Yeah, what about
the days
those
in those summers where we lived at RIT, we had nothing to do, no responsibilities. You had like one like summer half quarter class.
I had the third the
Calculus
third,
3.
Yeah, Calculus 3 for the third time.
3 by 3.
Yeah. See, I took calculus in high school. So when I got to RIT, they made me take calculus 1, 2, and 3. So I took calculus 1. It was so laughably easy because I had already taken calculus in high school that I was like, they give me problems like, derive the old way. And I'm like, I already know x, nx to the n minus 1. I can't even, my brain won't even do it the old way anymore because I know the new way. This isn't going to happen. But I got like, an A. And then it was calculus 2, which was like, but TI-89 was able to pull me through calculus 2. And then calculus 3, I just didn't understand what they were saying. And I took it again, and I didn't understand what they were saying again. And then I took it in the summer, and I got a C, which was, good enough to graduate.
Outstanding.
And I got the same degree that someone who got much better grades got, and probably a better job.
I at least had the requirement of if I didn't maintain a 3.4, one, IBM would never have hired me because they required a 3.4 or
well,
they just wouldn't hire.
Yeah, I already knew that I did not care to work at any place. The only places that look at the GPA and stuff and actually cared are big companies. Like if I wanted to work at Intel,
yeah, but
IBM.
I only work at big companies because more and more
I hate working
find
at
that
big companies.
IT for small companies is not fun. and doesn't pay well. And I mean, if you're the IT guy for a small company, they're not hiring more IT guys. You're it. You're on call. You're the only one. You never go on vacation.
I guess
everyone's stupid and it sucks.
I guess if I was IT, I would like to work at the bigger company because that's where the big iron is. But being CS, it's better to work at the small company where everyone's just chilling, hanging out, having a good time, relax. No big faceless, policies and things getting in the way. Just do it however it's supposed to be done. And
yeah, I definitely agree. Of course, now I get the benefits of both because there's only like 100 people in my company, but everything's run like it's a big company. So we still have all the like enterprise stuff, but there's only 100 people.
Yeah, we just bought and things are getting, they're slowly getting weird, but we're seeing how we can do. And, the boss who used to be, the tech partner is now the New York tech manager, and he's looking out for us. He's all good. So as long as we have the defenses up, we'll be all right.
So anyway, tonight we decided, it's Thursday, and remember way back we said we were taking Thursday shows, and we're just going to change it up, go crazy. We're going to do all the cool, weird stuff on Thursdays. We're going to break format. And, Thursdays ended up being 2 newses we didn't care about, and then a main bit that usually devolved into, well, what we just did.
Yeah. Well, I think, the problem is when you have people talk about creativity, right? And it's like, when you have some sort of focus or limit on your creativity, it's much easier to come up with something. For example, if someone says, come up with a cool video, it's like, but if someone says, come up with a funny video game video, it's like, you have something to build off of and actually can think. And I think Thursday was not a do this. Thursday was a don't do tech, don't do video games, don't do anime, don't do comics, and don't do science. And
I remember for the longest time, it was either we did a food show, or we talked about a movie we just watched.
So it was very, very difficult, even when we decided to, in throwing away the format of Thursday, made it even harder to come up because now we even have less direction.
So we did the best we could come up with is, I think every Thursday. Now, this isn't, the reason we're not doing this stuff in the experimental feed is because the experimental feed is going to be reserved for the really out there stuff, which...
Yeah, basically we've always had a bajillion ideas for the experimental feed and never done them because we don't have time for that shit.
But we're getting there. I've got several things recorded that eventually there's going to be regular content in there.
And, as soon as this website is ready, our ability to do more crazy shit will be greatly enhanced. But
man, shit just got real.
It got real. But you should see some of the features that are... At first, the website's pretty much just going to just list the episodes and link to the MP3s and that sort of thing. But you'll see its features will slowly grow onto it like barnacles, only good, because barnacles are not so good.
Sometimes they are.
Are they really?
No, never.
No, even if you're a whale, you want some little armor?
Probably not.
Whale armor?
Whale armor?
Yeah.
How about a giant whale?
All whales are giant.
Nah, I don't think you understand how giant. The one that went to the moon was very large. In fact, on the map, it was bigger.
How did he get there?
It was bigger than the city on the map, by far. It was like the size of 4 city squares.
I don't know what's your problem.
Final Fantasy 4.
Oh, that
Remember,
whale.
There's the giant whale, the big whale. You take it to the moon.
Yeah, but it's not armor. You need the paladin armor.
Anyway, so we decided... For now, what we're going to do with Thursday is
for now, meaning for today, and we'll see what happens.
Well, no, for now in the general sense, there's 2 for nows. For now, number 1, general sense. Thursday, we're going to try out formats of the show and bits and all those things. Because we got a lot of bits that we never really incorporated into the show, like
we're still going to talk about books, too, on Thursdays.
Yeah, but pretty much... I think the best way to go forward with Thursday is to everything. Like we can have a multitude of formats because right now Geeknights has the one format. News, thing of the day, main bit. Thursday can be a different format, like every time, to match the content of whatever we're talking about that Thursday.
Yeah, and we'll probably steal things from other shows and try to remix them and combine them. And some people might notice us stealing, and some people might not. And maybe we'll try to come up with new stuff and mix it with the stolen stuff. And
formats that work will then be retconned into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows.
Yeah, we'll try to be like the Japanese, steal everyone's ideas and then make them 10 times better.
Isn't the old strategy to steal from the forgotten masters?
Exactly. If you're gonna steal from someone, steal from the forgotten masters. Because then it appears as you're great as a master, but no one knows you're stealing because that's a forgotten master.
But anyway, the for now of right now is whenever we can't come up with a topic for a Thursday, then well, basically there's two things. If we can't come up with a format for a Thursday, then what we're going to do is just like pick a topic and force it. And if we can't come up with a topic, we're going to pick a format and force it. So tonight, we couldn't come up with a topic. So we decided to force a format. And the crab people I came up with was, I'll have a topic.
Do people know what crab people is? We keep saying it.
I don't think we should tell them.
All right.
Or should we?
No, if you don't know what crab people is, you're not cool.
It's a crab people. It's a noun.
All right, yeah. All right. Just
So
keep going.
I guess you could have crab people-y. Then it could be an adjective.
People I.
People.
Multipass.
Yeah. Quite. Really?
Yeah.
Honestly?
Yeah, really.
Okay. Well, there were like 9 jokes in there. Okay. Anyway, so Scott's got a topic. I've got a topic, and inadvertently we didn't tell each other what the topics are. So, one, if the topics end up being the same topic, I don't know what we'll do because I can't imagine that being the case.
All right.
But I don't know. Should we flip a coin? I got a D6 over there.
All right. Roll your d6.
All right.
I got evens means you go first.
Evens mean I go first?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
You could be lying.
It's a 1.
No, it's not good.
I could roll again.
I don't know. Then what's the point of even rolling if it's just going to
That's always
If
been
we're not going to obey the dice, what's the point of using it?
That's always been the way I flip coins. Whenever I need to make a decision that I flip a coin for, and I urge anyone who has to flip coins when you're not playing a German board game to use this method. I say when you're not playing a German board game because if you're playing a German board game and you're flipping a coin, it should actually be random. If it's not random, don't flip a coin. But anyway, if you're going to flip a coin to figure out what to do, flip the coin, and if you immediately in any way balk at the result, choose the opposite answer from what you flipped and don't look back.
Yeah, because that means, it's like if you're flipping a coin, it's because you don't know what you want. But if you flip the coin and you get a result and you feel like you don't want that, like you're like, I don't want to do what the coin said, then do the other thing. Just do the other thing because obviously you didn't like the one you got. And
Yes,
you were
but
just trying to lie to yourself.
don't be angry with or for the coin. Just go with the opposite.
Yeah, you don't have to do whatever the coin told you to do.
I mean, as long as you promise to protect both children and coins. Okay, enough of this cavalcade crap. Let's go.
So I guess we're balking and you're going first.
Well, I assume you're not talking about Martin Luther King Jr.'s estate.
No.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
Really?
Yeah. Because it came up.
What? Well, there's one thing I know about Martin Luther King Jr.'s estate, and that is his wife, Coretta Scott King, died relatively recently, like months, maybe a year, something ago.
Due to
right?
Randy BS?
Due to
due to
medicine.
cancer.
Well, yes, she had cancer, and she could have easily, there's no cure for cancer. There's no magic cancer goes away and you survive, right? But many, many people survive all types of cancer because they go and get chemotherapy and radiation therapy and all sorts of other painful medicines in hospitals that she could have easily gotten just by going to a hospital. She's Coretta Scott King, Martin Luther King's wife. She could have gotten them. Even if she didn't have the money, which, obviously she had the money and she could have gotten the money easily, right? She could have been, good chance of survival. Not like a guarantee, but good chance. Very good chance. Instead, she decided to go to Mexico to see some Randy bullshit clinic, not real medicine doctor. And she died. To no one's surprise, who knew that she was going to get fake medicine.
But that's not what I'm going to talk about. But
okay.
Because...
But I guess if she hadn't done that, would the question of the estate even be a question right now? She'd probably still be alive.
The thing I'm going to talk about, I don't think you know the fullness of the state of Martin Luther King Jr.
I did not. I know nothing of this. I didn't even see it on Google News.
Really? This is one of those things that's going to make you really, really angry. But anyway, because I rolled a 1,
all right,
I guess you have to go first.
What? No, we're talking about Martin Luther King's estate.
No, that was simply a preview.
Oh, well, I was just going to talk about how Rim is stupid.
All right, go for it.
No, that's not. I was just
I'm waiting.
No. I basically copped out, and I was gonna write a long post in the forum, and then I stopped earlier, so I said, "Aha! What an easy way!
You do that too?
What an easy way to fill up the show."
Wait. Did you write like a quarter of the post in the forum and then close the window or the tab?
Well, no, I did
Okay, because I
wrote
that.
like 2 paragraphs and then Control A and push backspace and then close the tab.
See, I usually close the tab when I balk.
But basically, I just said, hey, you know what? Because that was so easy. I've already thought of 2 paragraphs. I'll save it for right now. What nice cop out. And basically, what I was going to talk about is because, people were talking about this, there was the regular old bailout of the mortgage companies and the banks, right? And now they're talking about, bailing out the auto companies, and there was
and the state of California, which
really,
you realize the state of California's current deficit is now more than the GNP of more than 100 countries.
Whoa. And New York State actually just said, you know what, we're gonna have to cut back the spending because we don't have any money, which is the first thing I've seen about cutting back spending as opposed to getting more fake money.
That's the first thing you do.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's like, what do they cut back the spending on? Education and,
well, it depends. I mean, you cut back spending unless that's not an option. I mean, if your choice is either run at a deficit or stop sending kids to school, you should probably run at the deficit. Or, no police.
Yeah, but they're not sending kids to school. They're just getting schools less money. So no new textbooks this year, that sort of thing.
Well, man, I went to like one of the richest schools in Michigan outside of the fancy boarding schools, and we still had like 9-year-old textbooks beating the hell out of it.
Yeah, me too. I went to a, relatively, big money high school. I mean, it was in the wealthiest county in the wealthiest state in the wealthiest country in the world. It wasn't the wealthiest town, but it was a wealthy town.
Man, talk about silver spoons, because I lived in like the 4th or 5th wealthiest suburb in the country. And
that's per capita though. They're like, you can like places like Beverly Hills have mad monies, but then there's still like Monaco where there's also really, really low monies.
Yeah, we'll have to compare the
Fairfield
per capita.
County, Connecticut is just, average big monies all around, no low monies.
We'll have to compare the gross to the per capita.
And then there's a small area in Westport, Connecticut that's just huge monies, like famous people live.
I lived in the mushroom ring of prosperity around the decaying center that is Detroit.
Yeah. But anyway, so the main thing that's going on right now is the question of, bailing out the auto companies, Ford, GM mostly, those two, right? And the situation is this. You have these really big companies, right? The big companies are run incredibly inefficiently, or incredibly stupidly, and they're losing money, and they have cash, right, in their wallets, but their wallets are slowly emptying, and in a certain number of months, their wallets will be empty. Unlike, say, Google or Microsoft, who have giant wallets that are not emptying. So even if they start being unprofitable, they're going to be around for a long time. The car companies might just run out of money. Yeah. And if you look, the U.S. already, we have, the airplane companies and Amtrak and them, and most of
Amtrak's not a good example, but for a lot of reasons. I don't want to get into it.
The point is you
I
have
support
these,
Amtrak.
The point is that whether you support them or not, you have these transportation-related companies where if the government just didn't give them a bunch of tax money all the time, they're incredibly unprofitable and inefficient and would go out of business, and all those people wouldn't have jobs, and it would be the end.
Yep. Now, but at least in the case with the transportation things, it's kind of like the government is subsidizing this service that is, at least in the government's eyes, or possibly the lobbyists' eyes, a net boon to society. Yeah. In a perfect world, Amtrak and failing airlines are at least a boon to society.
Well, I think, ideally, right, is people always talk about, the old socialism-capitalism divide, right? And I think the way you have to handle it, which is something that is pretty obvious and just people don't say it often, even though smart people all know it, is that there are some things out there are some services which there's no reason to profit from them, either because A, it's a necessary thing that is impossible to profit from, because it's just a losing deal. B, because it's something where if the influences of, profit invaded into that service, it would, provide a negative effect on society as a whole. Things like, medicines and, public transit and things like that. Really having those things be for-profit private companies is not going to work out.
Yep, kind of like for-profit prisons. Bad idea.
Exactly.
But the point I was just trying to make is that at least with like the airlines and these sorts of things, Amtrak, it's a direct boon to society. It's a direct boon to the people that's being subsidized. But with the auto industry, it's like this indirect boon, because the boon to society is primarily that towns and cities that otherwise do not have any sort of enough jobs to maintain themselves have jobs. Like, cities exist because these auto companies exist to create jobs. But it's like this indirect thing because we're creating them through this for-profit enterprise. And then the boon is the secondary effect as opposed to the primary effect.
Yep. Because if we pay money to keep, say, American Airlines in business, right? What does that mean? Well, it means that American people can get from here to there, quickly. If we didn't do that, you wouldn't be able to get everywhere. You'd only be able to get to the profitable cities. You wouldn't be able to fly to, North Dakota, but now, because, the government subsidizes these airlines, you can fly to North Dakota, which is, I guess, useful for some people, especially those who live in North Dakota, even though it doesn't exist and they don't exist. But
that's been a thing with Scott for a long time.
I've never been there. I've never met anyone who was from there.
Yes, you have. We met people at RIT who were from there, or who said.
I met someone who said they had a friend who was from there. That's not good enough for me.
Okay, do we have to go there?
Why not?
Because, I remember iteration alpha.
I bet we'll just drive north from South Dakota. We'll enter Canada, and you'll be like, "See, Scott, we went through North Dakota," and I'll be like, "Aha, sure."
Remember that Plan Alpha of Desert Bus involved going through North Dakota.
Yeah. Anyway, so with the subsidizing the airlines, you get that sort of thing where now we can have transportation for people in North Dakota we did not have before. Subsidizing the airlines, the auto companies, all that does is keep all these people in their jobs. There's no other reason to keep, subsidizing auto companies other than these people won't have any jobs. Because we can get cars from Japanese companies, European companies, or even other American companies that are not, we can get that are not Ford or GM. There's at least one other.
Well,
US.
It's really difficult to talk about companies in that sense because the auto industry is really, really incestuous, a lot more than people realize. And companies make engines for each other, and there's all sorts of overlap.
Yep. I mean, you go to the actual Ford website, like the Universal Ford website, and you'll see all the logos of all the different things that are actually Ford. Aston Martin is actually Ford. Mazda's actually Ford. There's a whole bunch of things that are actually Ford besides Ford, and basically everything else is GM. But
So I realized
there's
suddenly
not
that
a problem with us not having enough cars. There are plenty of cars. We don't really need more, except for, people like to buy new ones. But there's, the demand for cars.
I can't think of one possible boon indirectly for creating these cars. By making sure that there are a lot of domestic cars available, it drives the price of foreign cars down. Because if there were only foreign cars and a limited number of domestic cars, then over time, the price of cars would go up because there's no competition internally and there's no incentive for foreign companies to offer lower prices.
That's true. But
that's
the foreign companies,
that's such an indirect
The other thing is that the foreign companies, would end up still competing with each other for, because the supply of cars might fall under the demand, and then you would have these, they would all compete over, buy, the French car. No, buy the Japanese car. No, buy the, whatever car. And that competition would drive the prices down.
But I guess I would argue that having the domestic the domestic production at least stabilizes car prices.
Yeah, in a short-term way, yeah.
I think, but I think that's what stabilizing does. It makes things less prone to change in the short term.
Exactly. So the major problem here is I actually, on the one hand, I say, man, we should just let those car companies go out of business. They were poorly managed, right? They were spending their money like stupid. They, were not, driving up demand for cars. They're, spending way too much money on advertising, not enough on making newer, better cars, building a whole bunch of SUVs.
I point out something really sad that I learned today.
Ever since Roger Rabbit way back in the day, it's just been bad for, US
I learned
car
something really bad today. Remember when gas prices were going up and up and up, and like SUV sales collapsed and they lost money on the SUVs?
Yeah.
SUV sales are way up now that gas prices are back down.
Yeah. Right.
I think the FARC headline was, as more proof that people never learn from their mistakes and never look to the past for guidance.
Yeah. I still understand why people buy SUVs, but that's not what I'm talking about. So on, going by that, I feel like we should let these companies go out of business. They're not a company like, Amtrak or American Airlines where they're providing something that can't be profitable but is sort of necessary infrastructure in a way. But I lost my train of thought.
What? What's got what?
But it's not because I didn't want to say but.
But you said
all right,
but.
they're not providing any a necessary infrastructure kind of thing. And if they went out of business, there just wouldn't be new GM cars. It wouldn't, But by letting them go
in the wrong place.
Yes,
okay.
But by letting them go out of business, right? All of these unskilled laborers will lose their jobs.
Not just unskilled, there are a lot of highly skilled laborers too.
Yes, the thing is, right, is that you don't it's like if we let the companies go out of business, you don't feel bad for the highly skilled laborers. They would get new jobs,
Well,
the executives could get new jobs.
It depends. The executives are not highly trained labor, most of them.
No, but it's like
But like the
you don't have a
engineers-
choice of because the reason the company's doing bad is not because of the factory workers. It's because who make up.
Well, part of the problem why the American car companies are doing so poorly is because of the workers, but again, indirectly, because of the benefits that were paid and promised due to the unions back when the car industry was very profitable are still liabilities today. And pensions and healthcare and things are so much higher for American car companies and other car companies, which I'm not arguing against. I'm saying that's kind of how it is. That is one of the primary reasons they're having so much trouble.
Well, here's the thing, right? And when the economy is bad, the companies, in bargaining with unions, should have a lot more power, and they should be able to just say, look, pensions are gone. You're screwed now. Either you do what we say or you're going to have no jobs in this bad economy.
Screwing the pensions only hurts all the old people who were promised the pensions, and that's how they're retiring.
Yeah, but either they, we screw the pensions and they can't retire on that. But now, okay, sure,
you
get your
Social Security.
Well, no, the doing it the way we're doing it is basically saying, here, you can have your pension, but now we're going to tax it all away from you to give the money back to your company so it stays in business.
Well, no, because the taxes funding this would be coming from you and me, not from the people living in Detroit.
Yeah, that's real fair.
We are paying for that. Scott, we, and by we, I mean people living in like New York and the major urban centers and the quote-unquote blue states. I'm not trying to make a value judgment here by any stretch, but we basically fund the existence of many places in the rest of the country. And I'm fine with that for a lot of historical and societal reasons. But that's kind of how it is anyway, so how is this any different?
Well, the thing here...
Well, I guess it's different because Michigan's a blue state.
The thing is, right, is we're entering a situation where what do we do about the fact that there is, in a world where we don't yet have...
In a world.
Yes, we all know that someday, right, we'll invent some sort of nanotechnology, diamond age type replicator technology, and even people who don't want to work will be able to live at some subsisting level, doing absolutely nothing, and they'll be able to eat and have some sort of protective shelter and clothing, and then the people who want to do things will do things. People don't want to do anything just won't do anything, and we'll just get the bare minimum that is provided for effectively no cost by technology. However, we are not yet at that point, but we are approaching a situation where there is less demand for unskilled labor in the world than there is a supply. And the only way people have of making a living in this world of, getting anything beyond nothing is with their labor. That's all someone has is, their skills, their work. And if there is no demand for work, then what are people going to do to just get food and a shelter if their work is worth nothing?
Now,
and we don't yet have a technological solution that lets them live at a minimum level for free, and they have nothing that anyone wants from them, and there's nothing they can do.
Now, even if we skip over that part and, skip the kind of longer-term scenario, even in the short term, feel bad for the engineers and the highly skilled workers, too, in these situations, because it's coal miner syndrome, where I'm a coal miner. I work in the coal mine in the coal mining town. If the coal mine closes, I have to leave because there is no other coal mine for me to work in, and coal mining is my skill. The engineers...
Well, I think a problem today is a lot of people refuse to leave. They just sit there.
But at the same time, if you have a family, the way America is, it is very, very difficult if you do not have a lot of money or if you have a family to just pick up and leave. It takes a long time. It takes a long time to sell a house. It takes a long time to buy a house. If you pull kids out of school, that's usually not good for them, during a year or something. It's difficult to put down roots in a new place. It's difficult to get a job somewhere else. I mean, if you lost your job, you probably don't have that much money to go flying around to all the different cities going to job interviews that aren't even guaranteed new jobs.
Well, you get phone interviews.
Yeah, but no company does that. And not that many nice companies will fly you out for a job interview. And also, all the places that have jobs, like New York, you can't afford a house. You're going to have to live way, way outside and commute like crazy, and it's a bad situation.
Or get some roommates.
Yeah, but if you
or live someplace crappy.
Yeah, but if you have a large family, that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah. Well, there's, that's a separate issue that we keep discussing of people having families that, they
But
can't.
this is a situation, I mean, these are people who could afford their family and were doing well and had planned for the future, but they've been slowly put into the situation where there is no easy way out, where the planning was for naught because factors they have no control over fucked them.
That is true. However, there are some factors in which, for example, I know how to program computers.
Yes,
right?
because you were born with a silver spoon in
Well,
your
no,
mouth
no, no.
and were
But
able to afford to go to one of the most prestigious tech schools in the world.
Let's say, right, nobody needs computer programmers anymore. Someone writes a program that writes every program that's ever needed, and we don't need computer programmers anymore. There are things I can do. I have other skills that I can sell that are worth something. I could get a different sort of job in some other industry that would be at a similar level, maybe a little bit less.
I would argue that the main reason we have that luxury and the reason we have so many marketable skills outside of our primary skills is that we grew up in relatively affluent, wealthy, middle-class to upper-middle-class lifestyles. We didn't have to work that much.
But if
we could skip. We didn't have to work for most of our lives, and when we did, it was trivial work. We had a lot of time to pursue varied interests. We went to universities, which got us a lot of well-rounded skills.
But if
contacts.
You're a coal miner, right, you may have not had an opportunity in your life to go to college and to learn all these things earlier in life. But if you were at a point in which, you're a coal miner in a town and you coal mine, but you're doing well, you can afford your family, you're doing okay, you're responsible right now, you could learn new things right now. If you didn't have, the ambition to, or the forethought to say, I could learn something else just in case the coal mine goes under, because you're in a precarious position. Even if the coal mine's doing really well, you know that if the coal mine goes away, you're fucked. So,
but at the same time,
knowing that
you
while you're good, you should do something to make sure that you're okay in the future.
At the same time, if you're raising a family and working full-time, you might not have the time to reasonably do that, or at least not do it quickly. I mean, a lot of people probably saw the writing on the wall. Hey, this isn't going so well.
Well, you got to do something before the writing is on the wall.
Yes, but even then, even the long term, all right, I see problems a decade down the road.
Go to night school.
Yeah, but if you also are taking care of the family, it gets tricky.
Life is hard.
Yeah, well, see, the other problem here is that if everyone affected by these economic troubles had done this, then there still wouldn't be enough jobs for everyone.
That's true.
It only works because most of the people in these situations either can't or don't take advantage of these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone did, everyone's just
That's right.
screwed.
If every coal miner went to night school, then we'd have 1 million people who learned some valuable skill, and thus the supply of that particular skill would be high and the demand would be less than the supply, and the people already getting paid to do whatever those coal miners learned how to do would get paid less.
But anyway.
And the whole thing would,
Because we should try to wrap this up at least somewhat reasonably quickly. I actually have what I think is a really good idea on how to deal with this situation.
Oh, do you
I was
now?
inspired because you happened to pick a topic that I read a lot about in the last week. Because earlier in the week, I found a Wall Street Journal laying on the ground, in my building.
Continue to intentionally make companies inefficient, thus requiring more human labor?
No. I'm talking about, what could the government of this country do, right now, to make the situation, to make the best of the current situation? Not talking about what could we have done in the past. Not talking about...
Besides public works?
But right now, specifically, what could we do?
Hire let the car companies go out of business and hire all of them to build the bridges and the roads the power lines.
Because actually, there was a nice article about basically the Democratic Party and Barack Obama are kind of taking a gamble in that they're pushing for action to be taken, and he's kind of taking a big role in this already, even though he's not president yet.
Yep.
But
well, he's a senator. He can still Senate.
He's not taking the senating role. He's taking the presidenting role.
That's true, but he can still, if he's taking the presidenting role and, something, is required, some legislation moving through, he can go to the Senate and vote yes for the next
Democrats
month or
control
so.
the House and Senate, so we can anyway, and if Bush vetoes it, well...
Yeah, don't the new senators and House people not go in until the next session or whatever?
But we already control this business. Just, we control it more. Anyway. One of the ideas, the idea wasn't this, but I expanded on this idea. Here's what I would do were I the president, and I would do it by, getting Congress on board and, make, executive orders and all the different ways the president can pull strings and press releases and speeches to get people on board with this. But I would, one, bail out the companies if they agreed to my terms.
Uh-huh.
The terms would be, yes, you will be bailed out. In return, the government will either get a controlling interest in the company, or the board of directors will be replaced or added to by government regulators who will basically sit on the company, make sure that you don't waste any of the money we gave you, make sure that the end goal, which is to make sure jobs are available in these places to prevent the average people from being screwed, happen, and basically take over the companies halfway as the government and force the companies to do what's in the best interest of the country. And part of that would probably be not paying out these bonuses and all sorts of, minutia that I don't want to get into now. And I can't think of a better way to handle it than that.
I would
just bailing them out encourages them to do the same bullshit to us in the future.
Yeah.
Not bailing them out screws a whole lot of people in a way that I'm not willing to do.
The problem is, right, is even if the government took over these, let's say the government took over Ford in that way, right, and they did let's assume the best possible situation, right, they did all the right things. They, every single person who's getting paid a lot of money is now getting paid poop, and, we're just making sure everyone still has jobs, and we do everything we can to, try to make it profitable maybe, right? Now all the taxpayers own this unprofitable company that slowly loses money for everyone all the time instead of, just losing money for this set of shareholders. And we got.
Well, that's why one way to go about it is to, instead of having the controlling interest, like owning the stock in the company, is having government people on the board who can veto anything stupid the company tries to do. Basically, it's just so the government still doesn't have the liability beyond the bailout, but at the same time, the government has the control to force the company to act in the best interest of the nation.
Yeah, but even then, when is the government gonna, we gotta have anything like that.
Yes, there's a lot of minutia. I've thought them all through. I don't want to spend 20 minutes talking about it.
Anything like that needs some sort of phasing out deal where, we let it go.
Yes, that is very clearly part of the plan. I could tell you my specific idea, but...
I don't know. I'm more interested in not, the particular, very specific government right now solution, but in sort of the entire world society solution of, right now we have the world economy basically says if you provide labor, you get something. If you don't provide labor, you get nothing. But there is less demand for labor than there are people who will provide it. And thus there are people who, no matter what they do, there's no one who wants, to feed them basically. What do we do as that ratio changes and technology has not yet solved it, even though it may in the future?
Just an alternate system of distributing scarce resources. Simple, done.
Yeah, what system would that be?
So anyway, things of the day.
Oh, and the things of the day in the middle.
Bears playing hockey. I am not going to explain to you whether or not this is real. I simply want you to observe the spectacle of bears playing hockey.
This could only be in an old Russian video.
In what I can only assume is a Russian circus.
It must be. All right, so, for much of my life, being at least Jewish by birth and whatnot,
as opposed to Jewish by injection.
Yeah, it has been very apparent that, despite there being gourmet chefs and iron chefs, that the greatest chefs in all the world are Jewish and Italian grandmas, right? They can outcook anyone, You get, fancy guy, went to culinary school from France, whatever, get someone's grandma up ins and they got nothing, right? It's just well known. It's a fact. That's how it is. So I was wondering, why aren't the old Jewish and Italian grandmas on the TV cooking shows? Why are it these culinary people? Why don't the grandmas open up the restaurants? They just cook for the family. They never open up a restaurant or anything, you know? They could rake it in. Who wouldn't want to go, you know? It's like this amazing special treat to get, like, you know, grandma's food maybe 3 times a year or something like that. If you could just go and buy it whenever you wanted, oh man, it would be amazing. And I had a much simpler idea of, you know, why doesn't someone just, you know, make a YouTube or something of their grandma cooking? And, you know, I had that idea for many years, much like I had the idea for Dig for many years. Well, close to it. Everyone had the idea to make Slash.
See? You avoided that. You would have been the one. You would have been the man.
Everyone in the whole world wanted a Slashdot where the users voted.
Yes, but now we see.
And only one person did it, and everyone else is just going, fuck, I could have done it.
Because now we see what we have wrought, and we despair.
That is true. That is true.
Because Dig made me lose faith in all forms of internet democracy.
But, you know, the idea to have just videotape grandma cooking has been around for a while, and no one did it until just now. Some guy did it, and that's my thing of the day. It's, let's see, Feed Me Bubby is the name of the video this guy made. Yeah, Bubby is the Hebrew word for grandma. So, and he's got his Yiddish grandma, and she's cooking it up, and it's a video. And some of the videos are loading a little slowly when I tried to watch them downstairs, but they work. So just, you know, pause it, let it load up, and learn how to cook traditional Jewish grandma food, which is, you know, the best food there is. So, you know, why watch Food Network? I don't know.
All right, so Martin Luther King Jr. I'm going to read the
is dead.
Because you don't know about this. This is I'm curious to see your reaction, but I'll start by reading the FARC headline.
Well, I don't know. First of all, he wasn't that really rich, so how does he have a big estate?
I'm going to start by reading the FARC headline, and I'm going to work from there.
All right.
And hopefully I will elucidate all that can be elucidated. Illuminate all that can be illuminated.
All right.
All this and more at Zombie.
In an illuminated manuscript?
Free at last. Thank you, God Almighty. We are free at last. Licensing and registration fees still apply.
Okay.
Basically, the story is that the Martin Luther King estate is a rigidly controlled copyright trademark machine. And if you want to have a picture of Martin Luther King or quote his speeches or do anything at all, and they go after people who use all their rights to parody and such too, and they do anything they can to force their trademark and copyright rights, you need to pay the estate of Martin Luther King Jr. to use his speeches, his likenesses, anything.
So you can't put I Have a Dream on YouTube without paying money?
That is correct.
You can't. What about the federal government? Shouldn't the federal government have to pay? They got Martin Luther King Day. Shouldn't they have to pay for that holiday?
Basically.
And it's infringing that holiday.
They forced people to pay to license the likeness of Martin Luther King Jr. and all of his works and anything depicting
So if
him.
it's Martin Luther King Day and I draw a picture of Martin Luther King and put it outside my business saying Martin Luther
Quote,
King Day sale.
Isaac Newton Ferris Jr., King's nephew and head of the nonprofit King
Is his
Center.
name really Isaac Newton?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Head of the King Center in Atlanta said the estate is entitled to hundreds of thousands of dollars in licensing fees, maybe even millions, due to merchandise depicting Martin Luther King standing next to Barack Obama that is being sold on the streets throughout this nation.
Well, that's just not true. He's going to go to court and lose because
no,
you can't...
they win these all the time.
Well, you can't it's a picture of a person.
They trademarked Martin Luther King Jr.
You can't trademark what a person looks like, especially if they're a historic or famous person.
They did.
You can't.
It is.
How did they win in court?
They just win.
All right, so so wait, anyone is allowed to, take like photographs in public, right? Right? Am I right?
Quote, realizing the value of his ideas, King himself registered the copyright of several of his speeches during his lifetime. After he died,
you can copyright his speech. You can do that.
Yes, so
that's fine.
All of his speeches are copyrighted
That's
and
fine.
Not in the public domain.
Maybe so, but...
Well, yes, it's so. He's not that old. Remember, basically nothing enters the public domain ever.
Sure, right? The speech itself is not entered the public domain. I could not print it in a book, right? However, he was in public, right, when he gave speech. There were certain speeches he gave in public places where he could be videotaped publicly. And if you appear in public and are videotaped by just someone standing there, they own that video even if you're in it and you have no say whatsoever.
Yes,
right?
however,
That's why, the news can just go out with video cameras and put things on the news.
However, most of these things, or at least a lot of the ones that you see, have ended up falling under the copyright, or in the very least, have ended up with this group being paid royalties or other. Yes, that's the way it
Also,
is.
right? It's just a picture of Martin Luther King. Well, I'm sure there's a picture of him somewhere, and that picture itself was taken by a photographer, and that photographer owns the rights to that picture. And I could just be like, no, I'm making a likeness of that picture, and the photographer is letting me. I'm not making a likeness of Martin Luther King. Ha ha ha! I can draw him on whatever I want.
The legal issues around this are extra complicated, but many people have tried to fight against these people and lost over the years.
Why are they losing? This is ridiculous.
So what they're doing now, quote, Ferris says he expects to announce deals in the coming weeks to license some items featuring images of Martin Luther King Jr. and Barack Obama that are going to be sold in the King Center and on websites and things, alongside recordings of speeches, postcards, calendars, mugs bearing images of King, and other licensed merchandise.
Yeah, well, I guess they want, if it's so weird that someone whose job it is.
Scott, the estate even sued CBS over their sale of a video documentary on Martin Luther King that happened to include excerpts from the I Have a Dream speech.
Well, as much as I like Martin Luther King, and
the appeals court ruled in '99 that the speech was in fact covered, not public domain, and eventually CBS settled out of court for a large amount of money.
What the hell, wusses? No one fights for anything
Well,
anymore.
because the court basically said, CBS, you can't win this.
It's dumb. Anyway, it's weird. It's like everyone likes Martin Luther King. He's totally awesome, I guess, except
I can think of some people who don't like
him. The KKK doesn't like him, but everyone else likes him. And, the thing is, it's the Martin Luther King's, foundation or trust or whatever these people are. It's their job to, make people like and know Martin Luther King even more. But they seem to, all they want to do is make people not like Martin Luther King. They want to make it so, keep him out of the textbooks, keep him out of the schools, keep him out of the t-shirts, make it so no one sees him, no one hears him, and no one likes. And if that's what they want, maybe we should just stop talking about Martin Luther King. Let's not put his picture anywhere. Let's not talk about him. Let's not put up his videos or anything. Let's just pretend like he did, because that seems to be what they want, right? Just like the record companies, right? Oh, sure, our job is to make everyone like this music. We're going to do that by making sure nobody hears it. Sure, if that's what you want, fine. No one will listen to your music and we won't like it anymore.
But I'm surprised you didn't know about the long-term issues with the fact that the King estate...
I never heard of this before, ever.
The King estate is one of the most...
And I'm very surprised that they haven't won in court.
The King estate is one of the most aggressive pursuers of copyright actions in America outside of the RIAA.
See, this comes back to what, Lawrence Lessig and Cory Doctorow and all those people always say about copyright, is that there's, this copyright and then there's this culture. And these people are using copyright not to, get the temporary monopoly to incentivize creative endeavors, but to actually strangle culture and to remove things from the culture. The record companies are removing their music from the culture. The King estate is trying to remove Martin Luther King from the culture. I know that's not probably their goal in their mind, but by aggressively, trying to enforce these copyrights and trademarks and things, that is the result of what will happen if they get their way on those issues, is Martin Luther King will be more removed from the culture than he is now, where he is very much a part of the culture.
Now,
and
one thing I will
say the best solution is to just let the people dig their own graves.
The article that the specific article that Slashshot links to is pretty bad and actually has some inaccuracies in it, so I wouldn't go by that. But this is something that's bothered me for as long as I've known about it. But as Scott said, I think the relevant quote here is, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for a limited time to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries.
Yep, I mean,
to promote the progress of science and useful arts.
Yes.
That is the only reason we have copyright law, according to the Constitution. That's it. It's there.
Well, that's actually enumerating the powers of Congress. So it's actually Congress has the power to promote the useful arts, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, no,
et cetera.
Congress has the power to grant inventors and artists exclusive rights in order to promote the progress.
Yes, by making laws and
yes,
the whole right. Anyway, the thing is, right?
I would argue that any law that doesn't clearly show to promote the progress of science and useful arts is unconstitutional.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Do you remember the Grokster case?
Yes.
Right, that we lost.
Yes.
In the Grokster case, right, or was I forget what? Or was it that Sonny Bono but I forget exactly which case it was.
There are like 8 cases. Sonny Bono
but
was
basically, they went to the Supreme.
that was the one where he lost, and they were
Right.
like, "Yes, you can extend it,
The Sonny Bono,
but you can't extend it anymore after this."
Well, that wasn't it either.
No, that was the next one.
That wasn't it either. Basically, what
I
it
gotta
was.
find a timeline of this shit.
Listen, the Sonny Bono Copyright Act extended copyright from, I guess, what was it, 75 years to 99 years, something like that, right? And they went to challenge it in the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court says, the law says limited, right? The Constitution says limited times. So when they argued at the Supreme Court, they said, look, because they keep extending copyright every time it's about to expire, it's effectively unlimited. And even though this particular law has a limit of 99, by keep making these extensions, it's effectively unlimited and therefore unconstitutional. That's the argument they made.
Yes, but
right?
I remember this. The Supreme Court basically said that if they continue to do it.
Well, no. What they said is, look, they extended it to 99, and they had a reason to extend it to 99 because of all the recent things that have been going on the internet and whatnot, right? There was a reason for this extension. We don't see, some sort of trend of infinite, extension here.
Yes, that's exactly
right?
what I was saying.
No. They didn't say don't extend it anymore.
Well, no, what they said was if there becomes a trend of extending it with the purposes of making it infinite.
Yeah, they said, if there is a further extension, if there's no reason for the further extensions and whatnot, then maybe, then they won't be allowed. But, they didn't rule out any further extensions either, right? They said if there is more extensions without reason, then maybe this argument would work. The problem is, no one has tried to make the argument based on the first part, which is promotion of the useful arts and sciences.
Are you
no
sure?
One is, not that I've seen, not in the Supreme Court anyway, not in a big case that was all over the internet geek news.
But maybe in the past, copyright has been extended many, many, many times in America.
That's true. And I think I remember, I'm not sure about this, but I think I remember someone saying, one of those big lawyers, maybe Lessig or someone else, saying after that case, we should have argued the useful arts and sciences instead of arguing, the limited, time. And I just don't know, I think if we made that argument and it was presented well, that we would totally win. Like, look, we have a situation where software patents are actually doing the opposite of promoting useful sciences.
Scott, here's why it wouldn't work, because the argument against that is that they are, in fact, promoting, and they have an equally sounding valid argument, and no one on the Supreme Court understands the issue.
No one understands
no one
the issue.
involved. I would say that no one involved in the judiciary understands what the issue is with software patents.
No.
I would argue that not a single judge in the world actually understands why we don't like software patents.
No, but if you went to the Supreme Court and explained, they're not, some of the judges are not good, but they're not stupid people. If you explained it to them, they're smarter than Ted Stevens. They could maybe figure it out, and some of them would probably be in your favor.
But then again, remember that if they don't understand the issue, then someone on the opposite side will give an equally valid sounding argument against you.
Yeah, it's true, but I think that, it's a much better chance of winning an argument about is this promoting the useful arts and sciences than winning the argument is this limiting. And I think clearly here we have a situation where Martin Luther King, his estate's aggressive, enforcement of their copyrights is actually not doing the opposite of promoting useful arts and sciences. It is removing Martin Luther King, a very important and beloved person, from the popular culture. It is preventing people from being creative and using his likeness to create new arts and sciences. It's actually causing an overall decrease in the promotion of useful arts and sciences. And you could demonstrate that, just by showing, look, there have been more, all these things pulled off of YouTube were useful arts, and now they're gone because of this thing. And yet them themselves are not, doing an equal. So in sum, this is demoting useful arts and sciences and therefore no good. And
all right.
No one's made that argument as far as I know. Not a lawyer.
I'm kind of hungry.
Me too. I'm real hungry.
Before we wrap this up, I do want to point out, and we're going to talk more about this. We're going to make a little audio bit or something about it whenever we get a chance. But there'll be a link in this post to a post in our forum. But the long story short is that a very good friend of ours, a member of the Front Row Crew, is now a teacher. The school does not have enough books in their library for like kindergarten through third graders.
Do we have any kindergarten through third grade books?
So what we're asking, what we are putting out to you, if anyone is interested in helping these kids out in this school, they're soliciting donations for chapter book. Well, here, I'll read a quote. We need books that are appropriate for grades K through 3. Early reader stuff, picture books, graphic novels, like Owly, for instance. Easy chapter books, DVDs, CDs, audiobooks, etc. Any books that speak to about minorities and other cultures are a big plus, since we want the library's content to be diverse for students' population, blah, 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 blah. If you're interested at all in helping these kids, there's an address linked to in the forum. You can send these books. They will be much, much appreciated.
Man, that's always so weird that the schools today don't have libraries. When I was a kid, my elementary school had a big-ass library. Middle school, big-ass library. High school, double big-ass library. And there were 2 town libraries. You had so many fucking libraries. Every freaking school, And sure, the elementary school had older books, and the middle school had a little bit newer, and the high school had newer, and then...
My school had a gigantic library that I don't think any students ever used.
It
had a card catalog.
Well, we had card catalogs in every library, that were only slowly replaced with computers. And I would dial in directly my modem. I'd call the library's modem on the phone and search the library to see what books were there.
In middle school, we had a multimedia server that had 20 CD drives in it, and you could access multimedia stuff anywhere in the school from that one server. Except if more than 2 people used it at once, it totally slowed down and stopped working. But actually, I'll read the whole thing. As some of you know, I recently started teaching kindergarten. 3rd grade art at a charter school in the Albany, New York area. The school is an entity several years old and moved into its brand new building in August. The upside is that the facility is amazing and the students and teachers love it. I even have an LCD projector that is mounted on my ceiling so that I can show images from the computer via plugs in the wall on my desk.
RIT styling.
Yeah, we were really spoiled going to RIT.
Yeah, that was at RIT, right? When you're just RIT student, and RIT is the only place you ever, gone to college, right? You go, oh man, RIT, it's all bricks, it's ugly, it sucks, right?
Every single classroom had a gigantic, perfect projector. We had Elmos and all the oh my god.
The facilities have all this technology everywhere, and it's not until you go to a state school do you realize, wow, you don't have anything. It's you have one projector for this whole college.
I went at IBM. I remember my first day on the job at IBM, and I went to this big meeting. It was come to this meeting. It's the monthly blah, blah, blah meeting, and it's important, but you can kind of get a feel for all the stuff we're working on. And they had a transparency projector, and that was it.
RIT didn't have any of those.
I know, we had Elmos.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we're Elmos.
I guess maybe 1 or 2 teachers had the transparency, but not,
Oh, it might be worth it to buy an Elmo, because think about the things we could do at panels with an Elmo.
It's all you.
I'll see how much money they are. Anyway, and it's skip, which has been used in projects regarding Owly, dragons, and textures on them, and Kiki's delivery service.
Mm-hmm.
The downside is that when they left the old building that they shared with another charter school with whom they were affiliated, they left the library behind. So
why didn't they bring the library?
Because it was the other school's library. They couldn't just take it.
Oh, I get it.
So I'm going to say this. While it would be funny to send them Erotsukidoji, do not send them Erotsukidoji.
Why don't they just, sort of save up, a bunch of money and solicit donations and then just buy, the Penguin Classics collection?
That's a good idea.
It's just instant library. Of course, elementary school kids couldn't read any of those hard, real books, but,
All right, I'll say this.
It's instant library.
If you have donations, send them here. If you want to do a separate donation drive to buy the Penguin Books collection for some other school in the future, that's a really good idea, and we'll do that later. But for now, send books for kindergarten through 3rd graders that do not involve overfiends to the address linked to in the forum. I swear to God, if any of you send them Erotsukidoji, I'm going to cry.
No,
and then I'm going to laugh.
Realize if you send them Erotsukidoji, they're just not going to give it to the school, and we're basically getting free copies of Erotsukidoji for us.
Yes. In fact...
Is there an Erotsukidoji manga?
Yes.
Oh, by the way...
I've read it.
The cheapest Elmo is $692.
That's less than I expected. That's
the cheapest one that basically does Jack and shit.
We'll see what it does.
It's a camera on a stick.
Yeah, but how far have Elmos come? RIT was a long time ago.
It's basically the cheapest one is a camera on a stick and then a surface to put your stuff on. The fancy Elmos, right? Are very, very expensive, $3,000, but they have many, many fancy features.
That's still not that bad.
All right, if you want to pay the $3,000, it's all you.
I'll look into it.
The fancy one has a built-in monitor.
I feel like an Elmo at a gaming con at some sort of burning wheel panel would be boss.
Maybe. Yeah, they're definitely good for gaming things. Yeah. All right.
They'd be really good if I was running a game.
If you want to show someone how to play a board game, you could just put the board game on the Elmo and then Of course, we could just put a webcam on a stick for like $40.
Yeah, and then
No reason to buy the Alamo.
actually we need some sort of ceiling mounted camera for filming board games.
Well, you just take a camera, put it on a stick, aim it straight down, put a white surface under it, put the thing on there, and then connect it directly to a computer, and you're good.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com. Or you can send audio feedback via Audio. Just click the link that says Send Me an Audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.